great for rising. You know, there are some elections coming up. They're not what we call major elections, but they're major just as well because actually the local elections are more important in some senses than the national elections because the local people are really the ones who determine how the money that's sent down the line is spent on you. This is a replay I'm doing of a video I did when Mike Pence and Donald Trump was running against Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And I'm going to redo this one because, as I said, we got some elections coming up. And I want you to remember this for all elections. I'm not pro-Republican. I'm just anti-Democrat. And yes, black people, we can be anti-one without being pro the other. We can be anti-both, or we can be somewhat pro-both. So let's get out of this notion that if you say that you don't support the Democrats, how now you can support those Republicans. I'm not pro-Republican, but I am anti-Democrat. So listen to what I'm saying here in this old repeat. Black man, you just blindly voted for the Democrats. Why did you do it?
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Crust. Thank you for your patience and stuff. I've been having, I guess you would say, technical difficulties. But guess what? I'm back, baby. What that you remember? Old folks like me probably remember, I think it was in the 70s when Demond Wilson, Lamont from Sanford and Son had a show. Baby, I'm back. Welcome back to another episode of Beneath the Crust. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm going to talk briefly on not pro-Republican, but I'm anti-Democrat. I'm just going to give you a briefing, and tomorrow I'll talk more on this. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I'm not pro-Republican. I'm anti-Democrat. And I'm going to start by saying, you remember Joe Biden, about how he got physically ill, about the police brutality and everything. Well, Joe Biden makes me physically ill just by being Joe Biden. And let me say this, and I'll speak more on this tomorrow. Why do we allow these Democrats to exploit the killing of our young people? Why are we allowing these Democrats to exploit the killing of our black people? Like I said, I'm not pro-Republican, but I am anti-Democrat. And he's talking about Joe Biden talking about he got. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden and other Democrats helped create this situation, the atmosphere where it's okay to kill black men. Well, black people's period, but I say young black men because those are the ones who's being targeted. Joe Biden, Ted Kennedy, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, a black Democrat. And the reason I point out that he's a black Democrat is because many of us as black people, that's all we talk about, how the Democrats going to be our saving grace. As a matter of fact, somebody even said, and you know, I can't keep up now because so many of our young brothers are being killed by the cops and each other. Somebody had the nerve when this one brother was killed by a road cop. Somebody's typed in on Facebook, Joe Biden gonna take care of that. Joe Biden helped create this. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not pro-Republican. I'm anti-Democrat. And if you want to vote Democrat, vote Democrat. I'm not telling you to vote Democrat, Republican, or whoever. You don't even have to vote if you don't want to. That's your choice. But what I am saying, don't go out there voting with this misconceived notion that the Democrats are going. I don't understand. How do we even feel that way? Is it because we don't study history? Is it we don't pay attention? Is it because we need a savior so badly? Do we feel as black? I'm talking to black people, and I'm black enough to say it. I'm talking to black people now. Do we need a savior so badly that we just lash on to anything and anybody? Joe Biden is a man, and I will talk about this tomorrow, about the laws he helped implement. And one of them, he wanted to be called the Joe Biden law. And I will give links. For those of you who sit here and carry on about, oh, you just said. No, do your research. Don't ever just take anything I say as fact. Do your own research. The Democrats, it seems to me, have done more systemic damage to the black man than the Republican. I'm not pro-Republican, I'm anti-Democrat. See, regardless of how I feel about the Republicans, it doesn't change the facts about the Democrats. Those facts doesn't change. I was talking to this lady about Camilla Harris and her record and stuff, and she said, well, I'm going to vote for her whether you like it or not. Whether you like her or not. First of all, as if that's supposed to just hurt me. I'm supposed to feel so bad because you're going to vote for her. And I was talking to this other black lady about, and these like old folks like me, because these young folks not falling for it like us old folks. I don't know if us old folks, are we on a black old folk, are we on a democratic spell, or are we just crazy as hell? But she said to me, I was talking about Joe Biden record. Ain't nothing you can say gonna turn me against Joe Biden. I said, I'm not trying to turn you against Joe Biden. Why do so many of us old black folk, when we start talking about stuff like this, we revert back to kindergartners on the playground? See, this is how kindergartners on the playground react to stuff. I don't care if you like her or not, I'm gonna play with her. I'm not telling nobody not to vote for Biden. I'm not telling anybody not to vote for Trump. That's your choice to make. I'm just telling you, I'm not pro-Republican, but I am anti-Democrat. And I don't have any love for Trump. As a matter of fact, I detest, loathe, abhor, despise. I abominate number 45. But none of that changed the facts. Hillary Clinton said that our young boys, well, boys and girls, were like animals. A Democrat. They're like animals, should be brought to heel. Dehumanizing them. Barack Obama, a black Democrat, called them thugs. Thugs. But now he cried for the children of Sandy Hook, but guess what? He didn't call their killers thugs. He didn't call their killers thugs. But he called those black men thugs who were protesting out of frustration and anger because of an unjust killing in Ferguson. They were thugs. But somebody who go up in the school and just shoot up the schools, or somebody who go into a church and just shoot up a church, didn't call them thugs. Bill Clinton, the 3-strike shot, a Democrat. Joe Biden, 3 laws, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's at least 3, may have been more. All this helped create the environment of dehumanizing our young men. And this thought, well, the saying that the Democrats are pro-black, that's a charade wrapped in a facade, covered by a lie. Boondocks, y'all. That's a charade wrapped in a facade, covered by a lie. Just say that. And here again, I don't understand, why do we get so upset? Now, there are black folk, and mostly black women, who will get fighting mad with you if you start to point out the Democrat record. Sorry about that. They would get fighting mad with you. But the truth is there. Vote Democrat if you want to. Vote Republican if you want to. Don't vote if you don't want to. All I'm saying is this. Don't go into this with some misguided notion. And Stacey Abrams was talking about a Democratic Congress. I got my notes here. Let me read this to you right now. Okay, now Stacey Abrams was talking about let's have get a Democratic Congress. I mean, for what? Let's go back to the turn of the 20th century. From the 20th century up until now, the Democrats have controlled Congress 28 times. And 8 of those times was under a Democratic president. So the Democrats have controlled Congress 28 times. 8 times there was a Democratic president and a Democratic Congress. That means the House and the Senate. Okay? So now, what changed for the benefit for us? Even down to appointing people to to high positions and stuff, that Republicans appointed black people to more high positions. And that don't mean they pro-black because they did that, but that's a fact. All those people who I think was Bush #2. I'm not pro-Republican. I'm anti-Democrat. So I want to thank you all for coming beneath the crust. Now tomorrow I go more in depth about what I'm saying and stuff. In my links and stuff, I'm going to put in the links. You can go check some stuff out, and I'll talk more about Kamala Harris. When did she become black? All before she was talking about Indian. I'm the first Indian, blah blah blah. So now is she black by proxy? Or perhaps she's black now because she knows that many of us as black women are so desperate for validation that all she has to do is say she's black. Kind of like with what name, Malcolm, I have no disrespect, I can't remember her name, who married the prince. And suddenly black women went wild. Yahoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! A black woman gonna be a princess. She never said she was black. As a matter of fact, now I don't know if she said I heard, because you know how this I heard go. I did some research. I didn't see that where she said that she wasn't black. I don't know. I probably shouldn't even said that because I try not to say things unless I've done some research. So pretend we're in the court of law and I'm telling that you're the jury. Strike that last remark. Okay. But thank you for allowing Lady Cleopatra to take you beneath the crust. I'm not pro-Republican. I'm anti-Democrat. Come back tomorrow, and again, thank you for your patience. Oh, that's what I love about you. You're so patient, so thank you for your patience. Oh, and I'm back in my library and everything. You see my babies over here. They're my babies. They're my sign, no judgment zone. I'm trying to create a dialogue. I want us to create a dialogue. And I'd like to have a dialogue where we don't go like to that second grade mentality. You know how that is? You talk to somebody, you know what, like the woman, ain't nothing you gonna say gonna turn me against Joe Biden. I'm gonna vote for her whether you like her or not. That's that kindergarten, first, second grade, on the playground thing. Let's have a dialogue where we can talk and understand. It's not even about whether or not you like somebody. I like my children. I love my children. But I point out things that I feel like they need to improve on. And it's the same with me. They point out things that I need to improve on. I like my friends. I love some of my friends. They love me. Well, they act like they do. But guess what? They still tell me, girl, you need this such and such and such. And I said, I'm going to do what I want to do and you deal with it. Oh, no, I don't say that. Not pro-Republican, anti-Democrat. Thank you again for allowing Lady Cleopatra to bring you beneath the cross. And I always remember what I said. When they close my book, you remember my story. Because I know Facebook now talking about they're going to either not let certain things be broadcast or not let or take down certain things. That's all a part of censorship. You know, anything that doesn't suit their fancy or not promoting what they want to promote. Kind of like the book The Spook Who Sat by the Door. It was banned. Margaret Beach. No, that was Greenleaf for that. But the book Uncle Tom's Cabin. That book was banned. Nothing wrong with the books. But the people who were in a position to ban these books didn't like what the books were saying. And that's the way it is with his name, Zuckerberg. And that's what I see this as. A means of him. Anything he doesn't like, anything he doesn't want to be said, he's going to bring that under the category where, you know, this may offend somebody. This may, you know, all of a sudden he's afraid of offending people and all those racist stuff he like. But anyway, I don't want to get on that subject. And I keep looking over at the clock because I'm trying to wind down. I don't want to take it past 15 minutes tonight. Now tomorrow I'll probably go about 20 minutes or maybe 30 minutes because I'm going to go more into details and have more references to reference and everything. But keep in mind, idea that the Democrats is pro-black is, as Uncle Rucker said on the Boondocks, it's a charade wrapped in a facade. covered by a lie. If they close my book, remember my story. You just watched another episode of Beneath the Crust. I'm Lady Cleopatra. I'm an angry black woman. Deal with it.
Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Support our youth in any way you can. Keep on churning till the butter comes. Albert C. Richardson, a black man, patent the butter churn U.S. patent number 446470, February 17th, 1891. I'm LilyBell. I'm just trying to create a dialogue. I leave you with this. If they close my book, you remember my story. A Nat Turner Runner production. Lock and load. LilyBell. Be encouraged.